Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dreamleapers Inspiration. I'm your host, Harriet Cole. As always, honored to be here with you now, whether it is literally now, because you are connecting at this moment, or later through the virtual reality that we can tune in when we want to. I'm so glad that we have this outlet in order to be together. So, how are you doing? How are you feeling? When you check in with yourself, what do you say about how you're actually doing? Not how we respond and say, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm good." Um, how do you respond internally to what's going on with you and how you're doing in this moment? Yesterday, weekend, I woke up so late. So normally I wake up between 6 and 7:30, say. And I should say I get up between 6 and 7:30, and that's every day, including on the weekends because, your clock kind of works in that way. When I have something to do, I set an alarm, but generally, my body wakes up at that time. Yesterday, I woke up it was after 11. I noticed as I was waking up that I noticed the sun on my skin coming in through the window, and it just was much brighter than normal, so, like, it's later in the morning than I thought. It was after 11. I said, "Okay, that means I needed to rest." And my team and I have been so incredibly busy of late, working around the clock, a lot of 2, 3 AM days, just cranking it out, and I am so incredibly grateful that I work with folks who are willing to do whatever it takes to get things done. That's truly a blessing. Um, but also, when you work like that, you have to rest too. And my body said, "No, you need to be still, you need to be quiet." And a close friend of mine had texted me. When I woke up, I responded to her, and she wanted to get together. She wanted to know if we could just get together spontaneously, for some part of the day, and normally, I'm up for that. Actually, she is the perfect friend in that way. We try, if it works, great. If it doesn't, nobody's feelings are hurt, it's all good. And I realized I couldn't do it. I needed to remain still. I needed to remain quiet and allow my being to rejuvenate. So I was proud of myself that I did what needed to be done, but also noting, I probably should have been resting a little bit more before that. How about you? Do you ever find that you are cranking, 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 just nonstop, and your body has to make you stop? I'm going to say I know better. In the past, what would happen for me is I would be cranking, 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 and then I would get really sick. And then it would be the crash and burn stop, like nothing worked except for being in the bed under the covers, taking antibiotics, whatever it might be. Thank goodness that is not where I ended up. I just needed to sleep a few hours. But we don't always listen. We don't always listen to our bodies and our spirits when we know there's something we need to do. There's some behavior that we may need to change. And we just keep going and keep going. And I say we because I know it's true for a lot of people. I bet it's true for some of you who are tuned in right now. When it's time to make a change, we don't always make it. We just keep going. Either because, like, that's what we know, that's what we think we have to do, to no matter what of it, or because we're afraid. Change is tough. It can be really difficult to make the decision to do something different when whatever it is you're doing is something you're familiar with, something that you know. That's why I wanted to look at the notion of change and what it means for us, what it means in our lives, and what relationship we can have to change, perhaps considering it differently than we may have in the past. So for those of you who are tuned in, first of all, tell me, where are you? Because as we think about change, one thing that's happening now, it is now March, and this is the season of change. It's my birthday month too, and There's every kind of weather in March, there's every kind of movement. It's the beginning of literally of change of the seasons. And so I'm in New York City. Today, I don't even know because I haven't been outside yet, but I think today is cold again. But yesterday was a little bit warm. And, 2 weeks ago it was ice cold, and who knows what it's gonna be tomorrow. There's a lot of change happening literally in the weather, and that change impacts us very dramatically. Do you have to put on a coat? Do you have to put on gloves, a scarf around your neck? Can you walk outside comfortably? Do you need to have on boots with that awful snow? I shouldn't say awful. It was beautiful at first. But what do you have to do in order to take care of yourself? Ah, Sekou, happy early birthday. Thank you, my friend. Yep, it's coming in 2 weeks. Um, what do you have to do in order to take care of yourself, and what change is required in that? So, we're just sticking with the weather for a minute. My father was very strict and very practical. And so his thinking regarding the weather in terms of being practical was you wear your winter coat until until it's warm outside, until it's absolutely no longer winter. So unlike some of us, like I have a bunch of coats, so they're for all different temperatures, let's say, really fashion, but also temperatures. So I change based upon the occasion and also the weather. My father had basically one winter coat. He had a dress coat and a regular winter coat, and he wore that winter coat even when it was kinda warm outside. He said, "I'm not changing until the weather fully changes." And sometimes it will be really warm, and he would have on that coat, and we would be like, "Daddy, it's too warm. It's time to change." Change. Change is tough. Change is tough for lots of reasons. Just using the analogy of the coat, on the one hand, you go back and forth, up and down, and as my father would say, "You're gonna get a cold if you keep changing." Too much change may not be good for you, but paying attention to what's going on in your world and being able to align yourself with whatever that is, that kind of change is important. That kind of change is essential for having a meaningful, healthy, physically and mentally healthy life. Paying attention to change, and as I say, befriending change. What does that mean? How can you become a friend to change? Change is what you don't know. You don't know what's ahead. You don't know what's coming. How can you become friends with that? Change is promised. Things happen every day. New circumstances, new situations, new people, new experiences, new obstacles. They come no matter what. They come no matter how good of a person you are. Because sometimes we think, and we are often taught, if you're a good person, if you do the right thing, good things are going to happen. Yes, and all kinds of things happen. How you approach those things, that's important. How you face whatever comes your way, absolutely important. But it is not that change won't happen. Change will happen. It is your attitude toward it. And so I found a really wonderful quote. And by the way, it was really fun looking for what do people have to say about change because there's a whole lot of conjecture about it. I found a very practical quote from Maya Angelou that I'd like to share with you now that was inspiring to me, and hopefully it will be for you too. Maya Angelou says, if you don't like something, change it. But here's the rub. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Okay, sit with that for a minute. Close your eyes. Let me read this to you. With your eyes closed, hear this. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Huh? If you can't change it, change your attitude. So I want us to dig deep into this for a minute. Hello, Bethune. If you don't like something, let's say if it's something in your behavior, are you doing something that is not serving you or others? Stop doing it. Much easier said than done, by the way, because whatever our patterns are, that's what we do. And it's very difficult to change habits and to change patterns. You have to be conscious and intentional about it in order to make those changes stick. If you have ways of being, ways of doing things. So, again, much easier said than done. If you don't like something, change it. If it's your behavior, that's the easiest thing that you can change because it's you, even though it's not necessarily easy. But if you don't like a situation in your life, you don't like a relationship, stop being in it. Find a way to extricate yourself from something, especially if it's harmful to you, right? If you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your job, and this is a scary time to say this because we are in a fragile kind of, for some, it feels fragile economically. For some, it feels fragile in terms of employment. There are many people I know who are unemployed. Last year, more than 300,000 Black women lost their jobs, many in the government, many high ranking people, many people in corporate America who worked in the DEI space when that was expunged by this administration. Dramatic and negative impact on many people. That was sometimes forced change. Okay, and now what? What are the next steps if you lost? If you lost a job, you lost a loved one, you lost a home, if you lost something, do you feel yourself stuck? Or can you open your eyes and go, oh, I don't like this situation that I'm in. I don't like where I am. I don't like how I feel. I don't like this. What can I do about it? And how can you change it? You can say to yourself, okay, it's time to change. How? What can I do? And sometimes we feel really stuck. What do you mean? I don't know what I can do. And then when you feel stuck and you feel disempowered, then you really don't think that there's a thing for you to do. And that's where I want to say we must remember our power. Each one of us has a tremendous amount of power for ourselves. What can I do for myself in this moment? How can I create change in this moment that'll be better for me and better for those around me? What can I do so that my actions can change this situation? Sometimes it takes deep meditation and contemplation, study, and tiny steps to get us to whatever freedom looks like. How can I find freedom and peace in a situation like this where it does not feel like that? What can I do and how can I do it? I think the biggest requirement is to not give up. Don't give up on whatever it is that's on your plate. May be hard, may seem impossible. You can change your circumstances. You actually can. It takes effort, it takes commitment, it takes faith, it takes focus, it takes often help. So it's not just you by yourself. Oh, I can do it all by myself. Not that. But even figuring out who can help you. Opening your eyes to the possibility of who in your environment can support you in this moment. What can sustain you in this moment that may be difficult? And then the other part of that quote of Maya Angelou, if you can't change it, change your attitude. Now, this one, I remember when I first read this quote, it was years and years ago. And I was working with someone, I believe, who was constantly complaining because she did not like her job. She did not like her circumstances. She was not happy. She was mad as all get out. And at least for that moment, she needed to be where she was. She didn't have a clear option in mind for how to move on. And so I remember thinking she needs to change how she's thinking about this. And then I read this quote, this very same quote from Maya Angelou, thought, change your attitude. If you have to be in a situation, what happens if you stop complaining? whoever you feel is your adversary in the moment, whether it is your boss, your friend, your spouse, your child, whoever it is, what if you change your attitude? What if instead of pointing your finger and blaming that other person, that other situation for whatever is going on, what if not doing that? Instead of doing that, you step back and say, how can I approach this differently? What can I do to have a healthier relationship with this situation? Even if it feels impossible. If I am stoking the flames of negativity with more negativity, what am I going to get? More negativity. If I stand up for myself and speak clearly and make it known, this is how I feel. This is where I draw the line. This is what is important for me in this scenario. Then what can happen? When you're clear, other people can react to you more clearly. Now, I know for some of us, this idea of change your attitude, sometimes what people do is to just be quiet. And there is a time for being quiet. You don't have to always fight. You don't have to always be combative. There are times when you choose strategically not to say something. But being quiet when people are being abusive in any kind of way is not what I'm talking about at all. Instead, what I'm talking about is being strategic. And let me just say, I see my girl Shelby J. Hello, my sweet. I'm so happy to see you here. Shelby J is bright sunshine, bright purple sunshine. And that's what we need. We need sunshine. We need sunshine that we shine on each other. When you can fill your cup with the sunshine of others, it can help you in the moment when you need to make a change. It can help you when you need to stand up and stand up for yourself, and also not allow whatever that adversarial situation is to have too much power. This is one of my mother's lessons, and her mother was keep good company. When you surround yourself with people who love you, who tell you the truth in ways that you can hear it, who support you, kind of boost you up, then whatever you are facing doesn't feel as big because you're not alone. If you have love surrounding you and you can feel it pulsing, you know that somebody has your back spiritually, that somebody may have your back physically, monetarily, whatever it means to have your back. If you have people in your life who have your back, who buoy you, when you are facing a difficult situation, it doesn't feel as difficult because you don't feel alone. Then it can be easier to change your attitude. And a big, big part of that is not putting all of your energy into that adversarial situation. You know how people say, like when they're dying, or if you look at the death situation, nobody said, I wish I had worked more, right? People often say when they're on their deathbed, oh, I wish I'd spent more time with my family. Oh, I wish I'd gone on more vacations. Oh, I wish I just sat up in my house quiet. Um, Usually people don't say, I wish I had worked more. I wish I'd spent more time doing whatever that might be. Style, I'm not sure who that is, but yes, keep good company. That's everything. When you keep good company, you have support. You have like you have a force of support that is there helping you to manage through whatever is before you. And by the way, it doesn't even require you to tell these people whatever it is that's going on with you. You just know somebody's got your back. When that happens and you're in a situation that is not serving you, like Maya Angelou said, change your attitude. So this woman I was working with years ago, I suggested to her, stop focusing on the negative. If you decide that you're going to notice every single bad thing that a person does, those bad things are going to be amplified and you won't have the possibility of seeing the good things, right? Look for the great things. And because Shelby's here and she's reminding me how I met Shelby J was through Prince, the mastermind artist and creator. There's something that many things I learned from him, but in this case, there's something that I observed in him that I think is pertinent to now. He was a visionary. He could see the future. He could see way ahead and envision greatness when that may not be what was in front of you. So I remember during the time that I worked with Prince for about a year, and that was during a period. Shelby J worked with him for much longer. But as I was traveling around with them, Misty Copeland was one of the people who was an opening act for him, and they became good friends. And Prince had it in his mind that Misty should be a principal dancer at American Ballet Theater. This is 5 years before she became a principal dancer. And I remember going to the ballet with Prince one time, and he said, "Look, the stage changes when she steps her foot on it. She should be a principal. She's a leader. She should be at this level." And at that time, they weren't seeing her in that way. He waged a campaign to change the attitude of the leadership of American Ballet Theater so that they could see her for who she was. He waged a campaign to change their attitude. At the same time, it changed everyone's attitude. It certainly, I believe, I believe that Misty always felt that she was great, but he pushed so hard. Like, do you see it? I see it. Do you see it? So imagine, you guys, if you have someone in your corner whose attitude is so positive and visionary, you are great. That you have the potential to be anything you want to be. You do. And if there's someone in your corner, like Prince was in hers and so many other people's corners, you feel that energy. Wow, is it true? It must be true. If this person believes this about me, maybe it's true about me. If it is spoken out loud, you are great. You are worth whatever it is you want for your life. You're worth more than what you want for your life. Go for it. That attitude change from, oh, they don't like me. Oh, I'm not good enough. All of us, I believe, have those moments when, if they find me out, the imposter syndrome thing, if they find me out, what's going to happen? What if you change your attitude and you say, I can do it? And whoever my adversary is doesn't have to be my adversary anymore. I can look for greatness in that person. I can look for ways to uplift whoever it is who right now we're at odds. We don't have to be at odds. Let's be in unison. Let's figure out a way to move forward with positivity. Changing your attitude toward goodness and greatness is so incredibly powerful. And now, when we find our world with so much violence permeating it, with people's lives and homes and communities being destroyed all over the world, what can we do in order to stop that, in order to heal that, in order to create space for greatness? So whenever crazy stuff is going on in the world, I always go right back to us. What are we doing? What can we do in our world right now to make this moment better? And we make this moment better than the next moment, and it's like concentric circles. We can help to create a wave of goodness and light and love rather than negativity and fighting. Gwenveria, hello, my dear. And hello to all of you who are checking in. I love when you check in and I can see it in the notes. I'm happy that you all are all here, that we're all together. Just right here. This is good company. Doesn't it feel like it? Don't you feel like you're in a safe space? Being in a safe space where you can fill your spirit with goodness and light, then you take that with you and go out into the world and have more strength. You have a softness in your gaze that allows you to see greatness in others, even when you want to stay mad at them or frustrated or hurt. What if you can let that wash away and replace it with a changed attitude? There's goodness in them too. We can do better. And okay, so you have that idea, and the first day you approach them that way, it doesn't work. Well, you may not have a trusting relationship with them based upon everything that has been your relationship thus far, right? So you have to work at it. You have to prove, I'm thinking about you differently. I'm looking at this differently. Or I need to show up better. Rather than when you point the finger at others, what about at yourself? What could you do better? What could you do differently so that you show up better, you behave better, you make yourself better, you treat others better, you show up for whatever you say you're going to do? What happens when you do what you say you're going to do, when you honor your word? Because a lot of times when we're stuck, frustrated, tired, unhappy, blaming, we don't show up as our best. I remember my first job out of college. I worked for a member of Congress, basically as a secretary. And I was mad because, when you graduate from college, you think you're the smartest one. You should make the most amount of money ever. You have all these delusions. I was not making much money, and I was typing on a typewriter. I had graduated Phi Beta Kappa Summa Cum Laude, and I thought I was hot stuff. Well, guess what? I wasn't. But at first, and I was typing on a typewriter. I was trying to convince them to let me write for them because I worked for a member of Congress and they were doing all of this writing and I wanted to help. And was writing about the arts, something I loved. And they were like, no, Harriet, you have all this typing to do. So what happened? At first, I had an attitude. At first, I had a bad attitude. And I realized I had to change my attitude because if I had gotten fired, I would have been so embarrassed and humiliated. And like I could not get fired, and my father would learn that. I couldn't. So I changed my attitude. And instead, I learned how to type 90 words a minute on an electric typewriter, not computer. And I learned how to do that with very few errors. So I would type, do all my work, get the correspondence done, and be finished by 12 noon. That was my goal. With a smile on my face. Oh, I'm finished my work. Can I help you? Can I help you do what you're doing? And day after day after day, I would do that until finally they were working so hard. They did not have enough people to help them. They ultimately allowed me to help them because I changed my attitude. At first, I had the attitude, they don't know who I am. They don't know that I'm smart. They don't know that they should be giving me more, blah, 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 blah. And that attitude literally was about to get me fired. I changed my attitude and got more opportunity. I am telling you, it works. Change your attitude. Stop pointing fingers. Stop being negative. Stop being the victim. Whatever it is that is going on in your life, if you can't change it, change your attitude. If you can change it, make the change. But don't sit there wallowing and doing nothing. That is not healthy. That doesn't help you to sleep at night. That doesn't help anything. I'm seeing all these comments. So before we go, let me see. Does one take a moment to do this when a chaotic moment occurs to recenter oneself? I learned to go to the bathroom, go in the bathroom for 3 minutes and do deep breathing and ask yourself to calm down. Invite your being to calm down 3 to 5 minutes, and your attitude can shift and you can go back and do better. It really does work. Fee King, I literally opened my eyes this morning with initial feelings of frustration, worry, and all of the other fear-based feelings and thoughts. I quickly pivoted my thoughts to feelings by focusing on all of the things and people I'm grateful for. By this time my feet hit the floor, I felt high lifted. This topic is a sign. Thank you, Harry. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for connecting. These moments that we share together on inspiration, they certainly do inspire me. When I'm going through stuff, what I do is to try to find, okay, what's a positive way to look at this, look at it differently, and then look at it with all of you so that we create space to be better, so that we create space to uplift our spirits and allow the weight to fall away. Do you feel it? It is possible. It does work. So today, do a little meditation. Invite yourself to welcome change. Invite yourself to have a positive attitude no matter what is going on in your world. You are worth it. The people around you will be so grateful when you do it. So befriend change. You can do it. It works. Until next time, have a great day and make it count. Namaste.